What's going on, Jerome's? So, as many of you may know who watch the channel for a while, occasionally we enjoy putting a jelly bean or two down on the outcome of some of these sporting matches, or as well as futures of who's going to win, what, or over under, what, all that stuff, right? But what's amazing about sports betting is that it really gives insight to how people think about teams, because that's all sports betting is. Like the line isn't specifically how Vegas sees the game playing out, although it generally tends to be pretty close, but it is a amalgamation of what people vote for on a team with their dollars. Like people betting one side if they like it, people betting the other side if they like it, and it just becomes this great like melting pot of different perspectives and people voting with their most important asset, which is their money. Well, obviously the most important asset is time, but that's a whole philosophical issue. But people are putting their cold hard cash on these games, and it comes out to a relatively accurate readout. Again, not how good teams are, but how good people think teams are. It's sort of like Laden thinks, if you're familiar with that. So diving on into this, computer cowboy Ben Baldwin, data analyst, he's been in the game for a long time. He's phenomenal. He tweeted this out. Here's an objective measure of how good your favorite NFL team is expected to be this year. And then gets into market-derived team tiers, SAUS, betting market rankings for the NFL. There you go. Now, the note on this is the number shows how many points a team would be favored against a league average opponent on a neutral field. So, shut up and take my money. But so the Vikings check in the middle class tier at 0.1 point favorites over a league. Again, the parameters: league average opponent on a neutral field. So the most prime meridian that you can get. The Vikings are seen as a 0.1 point favorite over that league average team in a neutral site, which is super interesting because it is literally the definition of mid. I mean, people ignore you have Justin Jefferson. The offense has gotten better. The defense will be better than last year with Brian Flores. 13 games and won the division last year. But people don't care. Again, that's one of the nice things about the public hating on the Vikings is that you'll generally get a good price in these games if you're a Vikings fan and you want to lay down a jelly bean or two, because the Vikings will never get respect, and that means that the betting market will shift. Whereas, hey, say the Vikings probably should be, I don't know, 7-point favorites in a game, and then guess what? Other people will hammer the 7 points on the other side, and then all of a sudden that extends a little bit. So you're able to get 7.5. You're able to get the hook, maybe even get 8, 9, maybe even up to 10 points, just because people hate the Vikings. But that's okay. It's okay, man. But actually, I did that backwards. Anyways, but you look at the top tier team. So has Patrick Mahomes? Yes, favored 5.7 points against a league average team, neutral site. And then top tier, you got the Bills, you got the Eagles, and you have the Bengals. Yes, it makes sense. Could be very good. You got the Niners, where I think people are massively overhyping the Jets. Yes, they have the best defense in the NFL, or one of the best. I believe in my guy Rob Saleh, long time. But the Jets barely missed the playoffs last year. Fully understand that. Rodgers isn't who you think he is. Like, Rodgers is not the alleged back-to-back NFL MVP. Hashtag not my MVP. He was a liability on that Packers offense last year, and you know who will tell you that? Packers fans. So I think Jets fans just weren't paying attention. I really don't, but whatever. Cowboys are always going to be perennially overrated. The Dolphins are going to be solid. The Chargers, the Ravens, fully understand. Middle class, I'm surprised that the Lions aren't in the upper tier class. I'm surprised that the media is all up on the Lions, and therefore blah blah blah. The blind leading the blind. The public should be all up on the Lions, and I'm surprised that they're not 3-point favorites over a league average opponent on a neutral field. Shocker. I think that the Jaguars are a little bit overhyped. I know that everyone wants to be on board with the next big thing, and I do think that Doug and Trevor Lawrence and Jacksonville will be legit. I don't know if they're there yet. I really don't. Denver. Sean Payton, please. Blah, blah, blah. The Browns. I feel like people underrate the Browns. I feel like this is a good spot for them. And then the Patriots, whatever. Then on the other side of the coin, so again, the Vikings are 0.1 point favorites over a league average team on neutral site. And then it goes to underdogs. So Steelers with Kenny Pickett, slight underdogs. The Giants, which I respect the public here because I'm not buying into the Giants. I know what happened in the wild card round allegedly against Ed Dontel's defense. Congratulations, but stupid money to Danny Dimes. Whatever. I like Dable a lot. Yes, coach of the year, but I mean this team played over their skis massively last year, and I think that a regression is due. And yes, this is coming from the guy with a 13-win team with a negative point differential. Yes, I'm talking about regression to the mean. Then you got the Raiders, Saints, Packers. Packers, I think, are fluffed up more than they should be. So that's 1.5 point dogs. I think it should be more than that. Like the Packers should probably be field goal underdogs against a league average opponent on a neutral site. I truly believe that they should be in the bottom tier, chasing after Caleb Williams, but I guess we'll see. And then they got the Bucks, the Colts, the Texans, and the Cardinals as the bottom tier. Caleb Williams, you're on the clock. So, well, except for the Colts. Yeah. So I do understand these rankings, and I think they're relatively fair. Obviously, some teams are overhyped. Obviously, some teams like the Vikings are artificially depressed, but it sort of is what it is. And this is a clear shut up and take my money spot. So it's like, hey, is there any way we can put a jelly bean on this? Because I will take the Vikings plus 0.1 points over a league average opponent on neutral site every single day and twice on Sunday, man. That's right, baby. But your thoughts are thoughts. The Minnesota Vikings, according to betting market rankings, whatever, are the definition of mid, and it's hilarious. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.